Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a Big Eye Crappie Fly. The hook that I have in the vise is a size 2 streamer hook. It is a straight eye hook, and it's probably 3 extra long. But we're going to start, this is going to be Chartreuse. I'm going to use Chartreuse thread. We're going to start the thread behind the eye, and we're going to come back just slightly, maybe 1 eye length, and we'll remove that thread. Now for the eyes, I'm using gold bead chain eyes. You can use silver, black, whatever color you want, and these are large. We're going to tie them on, like several wraps in one direction, and usually when you go to do the other direction, you usually have to put almost twice as much. You see how they're caulked there? You usually have to put like almost twice as many wraps in the other direction to get them to straighten out. So if you did like 5 wraps in the first direction, you're going to have to do probably 10 wraps in the other direction. Okay, they're getting pretty straight now. Now I'm going to take the thread under the beads and on top of the shank and give that several wraps there. That tightens them right up. I'm going to take some head cement and put some head cement on there. That should be pretty dry by the time I get back to it. Now I'm going to take Chartreuse Krystal flash. I think I have 4 or 5 pieces here. And I'm going to let that hang off the back, maybe about half the length of the hook, 3/4 the length of the hook. We're going to tie this in. Then I can take that, what's hanging off the back or off the front, and fold that back. And go ahead and bring that thread all the way back. And we're going to stop where it would hang at the barb of the hook, which usually comes to right where it starts to bend. I'm going to go ahead and trim that. Now I'm going to take a Chartreuse Hackle. It's a very webby Chartreuse Hackle, and I'm going to take all of these. I already did one and took all of them from the other side. And just keep gathering them together as you're going. Very webby, they're going to move around quite a bit. Then I'm going to tie them in right on top there. Just make them the length of the Krystal flash. And go ahead and tie them in. And then before I go forward from here, I'm going to take another hackle, and I want one with a lot of, I want one that's not as webby. But I do want the web at the bottom of the hackle. I want good web at the bottom and not as much web at the top. I'm going to take this, I'm going to tie this in by the tip. So I'm going to hold the tip and I'm going to pull all the hackle back. Just kind of stand them up there. Then we can tie them in. And I'm not going to trim anything off. when you tie in by the tips, if you're not giving it a crew cut, so you need quite a bit to hold on to. And then just kind of pushing my fingers forward, and you see I got all of that tied down. Then we come up to the front. Now I'm going to take, this is a number 10 pearl tinsel. Got a nice chartreuse base there. It's going to show right through. I'm going to tie this in just with the little tag going forward. There we go, I caught it. I'm going to wrap back and then forward. And like I said, you need about 8 inches of this. Hold those back so we don't tie in it too many of them. We get to the tail and we're going to go forward once again, and going back and then forward will close any gaps that you might have in your first wrap. So don't get crazy trying to keep them nice and tight. Remember, we're going to bring that up to the top. There we go. And I have about 2.5 inches left out of what started out as at least 11 inches or 12 inches. I'm going to fold that back and put a couple on top. It's a little extra safety there. It's okay if you come back on it a little bit. Trim that off. Now I'm going to take the hackle, and you can try to get them all to one side. It doesn't really matter. We're going to palmer this forward. Nice barber pole spacing. And then when we get to the eyes, I'm going to pull my thread real close to the eyes itself. Now I'm going to wrap the rest until I get to the really fluffy stuff. And one last wrap. Then we can secure this in. Take your cuticle trimmer and get rid of that. Now we're going to pull all of the hackle to the rear. Any hackles that are pointing forward. And we're going to put maybe 4 or 5 more wraps, but keep them real close to the eyes. You just want them to go to the back just like that a little bit. And then you can move it to the front. If you have a lot of hooks showing on the front, you could go ahead and kind of make yourself a little bit of a nose there. And we'll take our whip finish and whip this. Give that a good whip finish. Trim that off. Going to put some more head cement on the front there. Now this fly you can actually cast with a spinning rod on light line, long rod, light line, spinning rod, or a crappie rod, and it'll work very nicely. So I hope that you learned something from this video. I hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. If you'd like to purchase any flies that I make, go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. If you don't see it, just send me a message and tell me what you want, and I'll be able to make it. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.